Welcome to the This Week in Destiny podcast. This is where we talk about and break down everything that's happened from last Tuesday at reset until today, which is Monday before the next reset. There's a lot that's happened this last week. There's a lot that goes on in the Destiny world almost every week, and we're not leaving any stone unturned when we talk about things on this podcast. We're going to talk about it all, any drama, anything that's going on, anything that's trending. There are a few topics that have been omitted just because there's so much going on, and we don't necessarily want to sit here and do a 6-hour-long podcast, but we're going to go through all the big points. And if we missed anything, feel free to comment down below. And these podcasts are live on Twitch, so if you want to come interact with the chat, show up on Monday, follow with notifications. My co-host here is Dwayne on Fire.
What up?
Dwayne is a Destiny, I'm just going to call, I don't know what to describe Dwayne as. He's like a Destiny ninja or something. He knows.
He's a gamer, dude.
He just knows things. He grinds. I'm a little backstory about who is this Dwayne guy? How do you know him? Why do you always have him on your videos and stuff? Dwayne and I have been raiding for a long time, gaming for a long time, playing PvP for a long time. And I remember one day, this is how I was like, I started inviting him to the Discord more. I was asking someone what the god roll of a certain weapon was, and he was like, oh, this. And he gave the exact magazine, the exact barrel, the exact master. And I was like, damn. I was like, this guy must know what he's talking about. So I like dragged him in, and I kept asking about different god roll stuff. And I was like, he seems to really be into the world of Destiny. Like, he's invested and he's watching everything. So that was where we started to hang out more and make more content together. And so now here we are years later, and now we're making this podcast. So let's start off from the beginning. Tuesday, the reset, we had a massive server meltdown. I don't know what happened. We could not get into the game for how many hours? Was like I think it was like 6 hours the game was down.
Yeah, it wasn't even supposed to be down at all. It was just background maintenance. And then it went down for an hour, and then they extended it 3 more hours, and then like 2 more after that. It was crazy.
It was unbelievable. And everyone today is saying that they're getting error codes. I'm seeing constant people on Twitter saying so many error codes. It's so bad today. It's really rough playing Destiny right now. I don't know what these potato servers are. I don't know what Bungie is doing or why the servers are so bad. I know that sometimes, now laugh at me if you might want, but I know sometimes people reference the Tiger engine versus Unreal Engine. And I'm like, I don't know if the engine is the same thing as the servers. I don't think so. I'm assuming not. Are you tech savvy enough to understand this?
I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure it's not the same thing. So I think that people are like, the servers suck. Bungie needs to get rid of this Tiger engine. I'm thinking like you actually, I'm not sure, but
I don't know that those are two entirely related things.
I don't think those are the same thing. I think the Tiger engine is how the game is like created and structured and stuff, like how they like build stuff, and like I don't think that's the servers at all. But I feel like it's funny when you see on Twitter like people, they put those two synonymous in some ways. It makes me laugh a little bit. And
supposedly their engine is terrible.
Yeah.
But I think the servers are too.
Yeah, the engine has its own issues. And maybe fixing the engine would be like fixing issues like melee registration. But I don't know if even swapping to Unreal Engine would be the true fix to melee registration. But they actually are using that. We're not going to skip ahead here, but they are using that for their new game, or at least it's been rumored. We'll get to that later on. But so we had a huge server meltdown. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why the servers are so bad. We're meant to be in like the golden era of Destiny, right? We're 8 years into this game. You'd think it would be a pretty well polished game at this point. Obviously, it's a live service game, so a lot of things are updated. Some things are feeling more polished than others, in some ways. Some things are feeling extremely broken in so many ways. It's hard to get a full gauge of how I feel about the big picture of Destiny, but the ship is floating, at least at this point in time. So
at this point, it feels like minimum once a week there's a day where for like 3 hours everyone just gets kicked out of the game.
Yeah,
you just can't play. It's like,
which is really weird and really strange, and hopefully they get past that, because that is really strange. The servers we need some new servers. What do we got to do to get some new servers, Bungie? What are these servers? How does this even work? Is it peer-to-peer, and there's no dedicated servers? There's so many different terminologies that are thrown around with some of this stuff. You've got peer-to-peer that we're on right now. They've got dedicated servers. I don't know if dedicated servers fix this. Maybe. It sounds like it probably would, but I don't know. We'll see.
Probably just 2 months down the line, and they'll be like, actually, it was one of Steam's networking nodes, and it wasn't our fault at all.
Yeah, something like that. I did it before. Yeah, I remember that. Who knows? But hopefully they fix it, because it's getting bad. And a lot of people are like, this is kind of ugly. I saw some videos going around that are trending right now. I think I think Fallout and Azcross both posted a video that's very similar topic. So the servers are, it's bad. It's bad. And a lot of people are taking notice of it. The next one thing we're talking about is we're going to move past that. We got the Nezarac challenge. We got that this week. And we were wondering, because all these challenges have been kind of tough, and they actually did add an extra layer to the game, to the encounter rather, and made it difficult. And I was like, I wonder how difficult this one will be. Will this be the one that's like, you just do everything normal and beat it? It was definitely not that. This was definitely a tough challenge on Master. And you and I, we were doing carries and we were trying to help some people. And for some people, it was just not going to happen. It just wasn't quite there. The damage wasn't there. We'd have to like re-strategize, like maybe do the, what's the mechanic called where you save yourself? It starts with R.
Refuge.
Refuge. I was thinking maybe we incorporate that, but our strat, just to summarize, was we put 3 on one side and 3 on the other, and you better run fast. Just run. And I'm going to clear ads. Dwayne's going to clear ads. The carries or the raffle winners, or they also have, like, it's funny calling them a carry because really you couldn't get carried in this very easily. They had to run, know where to run, and run fast, and then we would swap sides after we did 3, and then we would finish both sides at the same time, and then we'd do damage, and it seemed like if we didn't get it done in 2 phases, the 3rd phase wasn't going to happen because you had to run so fast on phase 2 and phase 3 that
you got like no time to get ammo or anything.
Yeah, it just wasn't really. It fell apart for us a lot, but we did carry a good amount of people. I feel pretty proud of carrying people through that because that's a tough challenge to carry some people through. I feel pretty good about it. But let's evaluate the challenge overall. Do you think that was a good challenge? What are your thoughts on that one?
I like the challenges where everyone does have to do something, right? You have to carry your own weight, you have to do your part, and you have to do it right, which are the challenges I like the most, but they're also obviously the most challenging to help people through for that reason.
Yep.
But it's a fun challenge, right? Because it makes the boss room more hectic and it makes it seem more dangerous, even though it isn't, right? Because everyone is moving, everyone's having to kill ads or watch out for them.
Yeah.
On top of, I was like taking care of the boss. So it's like super dangerous for me because I'm running to my plate. I'm taking the boss aggro. I'm running to the other plate. I'm trying to kill the champs, you know. It's just a fun challenge, but the reward for it was horrendous.
Yeah, the rewards are bad, which is like I think a lot of people would have grinded this one out if it was the slug shotgun this week. They would have had a little more fun with it. Obviously, you got the option of just, spoil farming Nezarac on normal and then getting 1 slug and then just farming that out that way. So kind of pick your poison of what you want to do. I'm in for a challenge though. I kind of like to do it on all 3 characters. I feel like I get so comfortable using one that I like to challenge myself and make sure I'm running and moving fast with my Icarus dash and make sure I'm also moving fast on my Hunter and then my Titans, all that, So I kind of like doing them on all 3. It was challenging. It was tough. How far have we come from freaking everyone stand in front of the glass in front of Crota and shoot your G-horn while one guy does everything, right? But truly, I think this was if you were to look at the whole timeline of Destiny, I think this was like a pivotal moment where like everyone has to do everything and know the encounter well. The one thing people could skip was maybe killing ads. Like I would be extra attentive to kill ads myself because we were carrying people, but you could kind of skip that part, but you had to know how to run. You had to know how to move fast both sides. You had to know how to DPS well. It was a tough one. It was definitely a tough one. And that's the last of the raid challenges. Next week it'll be encounter 1 challenge, but it'll be either the linear fusion rifle or the slug shotgun. I feel like Bungie being Bungie, they're going to make it the linear fusion rifle next week, and then the very last week will be the slug, making its way to almost the end. That sounds about right.
Yeah, I feel like they really should have made the slug this week just because it is the hardest challenge.
Yeah.
Which would make it. It'd be nice if the hardest challenge had, the best weapon as the reward.
True. Some will say that. Some will be like, I don't really want to suffer in this thing, so they'll skip this and just wait for it to be an easier week, personally.
That's true.
So some people will be actually more stoked that the slug is going to land on an easier encounter week in the future. So it is what it is.
Fair.
But the second encounter is tough as heck. So I wouldn't actually say the second encounter is necessarily easier. Like once you get the rhythm down, maybe, but that's definitely tough. The second, third, and fourth were all substantially tough in my opinion for Master at least and challenge. But so we'll see. We'll see if it's the first encounter for next week, but I'll definitely do it for that linear fusion. Linear fusion is pretty solid, and the slug. So next 2 weeks I'm going to be doing them and be pretty stoked and carry some people through as well. So next up, we're going to talk about the mid-season patch that we've been looking for so long. And I say mid in quotations because week 8 for mid-season patch, I don't know about that one. And if you get don't know if you got your numbers quite right there, Bungie, but week 8 season patch, I guess. And this has introduced a good amount of substantial changes. What are the most notable ones that come to mind for you, at least?
Just like the buffs for like primaries and PvE was pretty nice.
That one was pretty good.
It makes them feel
sidearms
better.
Sidearms
running double special, but
still running double
they
special.
do feel better.
But the at least it's a leap in the right direction. I'd say it's a leap in the right direction to buff all those primaries, and it just shows you how strong double special is. Even post a huge across the board primary nerf, still using double special as I was doing Mars Heist Battleground carries throughout the entire week, right? Like I'm still using double special, and I'm still having everyone that joins up. People are joining up with double primary, and I'm like, no, we're not doing that. And when I did let some people run double primary, right? It's funny when you think about this, and I know some people won't like this. They're like, oh, don't tell people what to use or whatever. I'm not telling you what to use, but it's when you don't clear ads efficiently, when you have to stun a champion twice, you actually make the encounter significantly harder for yourself, and you don't even realize it. You think it's easier. Mm-hmm. You think it's easier, like, oh, I got a scout rifle, I have infinite ammo, I could just sit back forever. And it's like, yeah, you can, but there's parts of this GM where the ads are in your face that you can't just sit back. You got to have double special. You got to have that void machine gun. You got to have volatile rounds. You got to have the void surges on. You got to have everything. I spec'd every single person out, and it was so cool. Everyone would join this raffle rep, and they would join to get carried to Mars Heist Battlegrounds, and I would sit there for 10 minutes, and I would spec them out. I would take them to the tower. They're like, oh, I don't have anything infused. I take them to the helm. They would define anger, but I took them everywhere, and I was like, I made them use all the best loadout, and one by one, we carried every single person, sometimes double carries. First try, sub 20 runs, everyone. And I was like, let's go. That was fire. It was a really fire. Sick. Double special is so sick right now. They are probably going to have to nerf it in some way. I'm not asking for it. I'm not saying let's nerf it. Don't get mad at me. But I'm saying they're probably going to have to nerf it. And how do you agree or disagree?
It was really the trace rifles that made double special so good.
Yeah.
And even now, like sometimes you use a GL or a fusion or whatever, but having a trace rifle where it's basically a primary, but it does better damage, and then it's a special weapon which gives you more heavy ammo.
Yeah.
It is. I think they could nerf maybe the ammo like spawn rate, because it's usually like X amount of kills before you get a drop. They could potentially just increase that, but that would also just make it so when you run a primary, it also just feels worse.
Yeah.
Because now when you run a primary, it takes even longer to get your special ammo back. And either way, it's going to suck.
Yeah, they'll have to just fix it some way. I mean, I guess the best case scenario would be maybe just buff all the primaries again. 10% across the board for all of them, including SMGs. Like at that point in time,
it's also just damage resist is a huge factor. Where if I'm close to all the enemies and living, I can just use a fusion. I can use a shotgun. I can use a GL. It doesn't matter. I don't need to be in the back of the map with a scout rifle.
Yeah,
the meta has just evolved and changed so drastically that metas are just kind of in the back,
Yeah, I can see that. And some, I don't know what they will do to adjust that ammo economy. The primaries are significantly better than they were before, but double special is still the way for, honestly, most things. And some people in the chat, I know a lot of people watching this will be like, no way. But I kind of want you all to go back and watch the VODs. Like everyone will join up and they're like, I've never used double special. I don't know about this. And I'm like, trust. Because you know what happens a lot of times when you stun a champ, and people that are less experienced or don't quite know what they're doing, P1, LFG, they're just shooting the champ with the primary, they're just lighting them up. And
cannon DPS.
When you have double special on and you have a heavy, you don't have any option but to do good damage unless you just don't shoot the champ at all. Which did happen a few times where they're just like, I forgot to shoot the guy. I'm like, what do you mean? He's stunned, But for the most part, if you have double special and a heavy on, you're actually doing good damage at all times. You're not doing that scout in the back damage, But so
I think the easiest thing they could do, which will help the game in a lot more ways than just the ammo economy for double special, is to just nerf resilience back to not necessarily what it was, because it was basically useless before, but having a permanent 30% damage resist is just broken. It's insane in all parts of the game, and especially for running double special.
Yeah, I guess so. What is it about the resilience that affects double special specifically?
Because you don't have to sit in the back with a scout. Be right next to them and fusion rifle them.
I get it. Makes sense.
And you're always picking up ammo.
That makes a lot of sense.
Run out.
if we were more fragile, then we couldn't, like, because right now in Mars Heist Battlegrounds, the toughest GM, I am just in everyone's face at all times with a fusion rifle, suspending them or shooting machine gun ammo at all times. And it's because, in part, due to the 30% damage resist. I could see some of that. I could see that being brought down a little bit. Some people will be upset about that. They're like, I couldn't even beat the freaking GM, so shut up, you elitists. But so I feel them for that, but definitely. I feel like GMs are in a good place, though. I'm actually looking forward. I thought that the GM, like, after the GMs got so easy, like the last season and the season before, I was kind of like, kind of over GMs, you know? But after doing it this week, I was like, this feels like fun and challenging, and a lot of people were really about it, and they were really enjoying the GM carries and helping them through there. Like, someone was like, I've been trying all day to beat this. They're like, I've been trying all day. I've been on LFG with so many different teams now, like, please. And then we literally picked this guy up. I spend 10 minutes and I changed his entire loadout, double special, void machine gun. We beat it 20 minutes, first try, and he's gone. He's like, thank you. And it's like,
that's
cool.
Dope.
So it's like, couldn't be any better. Like, couldn't be any better in terms of that. So the mid-season patch, the double primaries, is easily one of the things that was affected the most. Anything else comes to mind, or is that the only interesting one that you really think of?
I don't really remember entirely what was in it, to be honest.
Same. I feel like that's like the most memorable one to me too. Maybe someone will comment down below if they have anything interesting. Like, I feel like there was a bunch of other small changes, but that was really the one that kind of sent it home. And then we have Dim decided to actually, they were like, we're not going to talk about this too much, but Dim actually ended up leaving Twitter because of their policies. And to be fair, Twitter is a really toxic place. And like, to give a reference, like PewDiePie back in the day ended up leaving Twitter a long time ago. I don't think people don't even remember this, but PewDiePie just had enough of all the toxicity on Twitter, and apparently Dim has had enough of the toxicity. I don't think they've fully left. I think they just said that they're lowering their input to it. So it's definitely crazy to see the harassment and how toxic that app can be at times, and how it's affecting Destiny content creators now. As in part of this, the second part to this is that they actually changed their policies recently, and obviously Elon Musk has a lot of different ideas about how to, moderate Twitter and stuff. But they changed their policies recently where it's like you can misgender someone now, and obviously we're not going to get too much into the transgender topic, but you can misgender someone now and you don't get banned. So you can call someone a he or she or they, them, or whatever it is, or you don't have to call them what they're asking to be called, right? Which was definitely a hot topic, and probably part of the reason why many people will potentially leave if they don't like that, if they're not about that vibe, and others will celebrate that and think that that's that's good for the platform or whatever it may be. But definitely turmoil on Twitter, and definitely crazy to see a huge, this is probably one of the biggest third-party apps in Destiny, if not the biggest third-party app, leaving a huge platform like Twitter. It was wild to see, and I made a little news bit about it, talking about it, because I was like, whoa, I did not expect that. I didn't expect it to be like that. And what are your thoughts about Twitter and those policies and all of that?
Seems to be just going down it.
Yeah, it's looking bad.
It's already like, just the internet as a whole is like, it's a place where toxicity runs rampant just because everyone's anonymous and, they do whatever they want, right?
Yeah.
But companies and people just making it actively worse is a shame.
It is. And you know what it comes down to? It's not like some crazy wisdom or anything, but like there's kind of this just philosophical approach to not just social media, but just everything in life in general. I feel like where it's like you've got complete freedom has its own downsides, and obviously complete control has its own downsides as well. And you got to find the happy place somewhere in the middle. So if you want to have and obviously we could get into a little bit too much politics here with like freedom of speech perhaps, but if you have complete freedom of speech, just absolute freedom of speech, then you have hate speech, you have misinformation, you have countless other issues, and so complete freedom on Twitter is probably not the best, because, we've seen a lot of nasty things on Twitter and a lot of bad things. So there needs to be some moderation, obviously. But then how much moderation do we have? And if you have moderation, are you taking away people's freedom of speech, in certain situations when someone does post something that they think is accurate information, but it's actually misinformation? And we've seen a lot of different, Elon Musk has been going on a bunch of different podcasts and stuff, and has been a big hot topic. And I don't want to dive in too much into things outside of Destiny, but it's definitely a weird place on Twitter right now where they're trying to figure out what are the boundaries of freedom of speech on Twitter, and how much moderation do we need to keep it a safe place, a healthy place where people can actually have dialogue, people can actually interact with the news, and people like Dim and others that don't feel like they're being harassed off of the platform, literally harassed so much that they feel the need to step back from the platform. And I hope that Twitter does have. I actually personally like better moderation policies, like on YouTube and stuff. You can add all kinds of really good moderation, because if you don't have good moderation, it really does get out of hand really bad.
Yeah.
And people will dislike that, though. They're like, "Oh, you're taking away our freedom of speech," and that's why it's just a big, political argument at that point. But I think that complete freedom of speech, or complete just tweet whatever you want, is just not good. It's just not going to end well. And we've seen that, And
I mean, the whole like freedom of speech thing doesn't even really apply. Like, it's a private company.
Yeah.
The owner of it can do whatever they please with it. It's there.
That's true, but
they're just allowing you to use it.
I think the magic of it, though, is it's meant to be your digital footprint in the universe. Like, you are a person and you have your own speech, but that Twitter is meant to be, an extension of you and your identity and your opinions and stuff. And that's where, people post their political opinions, people post their religious opinions and all that stuff.
Right.
And so censorship of people's political opinions, or people's misinformation, or people's hate speech can be seen as negative, or seen as not fair. And what defines hate speech? Who gets to say this is hate speech? Who gets to say this is misinformation? Is a really good question. In fact, that was one that Elon was talking about on a podcast, where he was saying, like, how do you define what misinformation is? And technically speaking, every news channel, I'm a news channel, right? I cover news. I have posted misinformation on accident. Like, I posted something like, for example, we thought that there was a Destiny subscription fee coming, right? And everyone posted that. All the biggest news channels, every news channel that has ever posted about Destiny talked about this leak of a Destiny subscription coming. And then we found out later that it was literally misinformation. It was a hoax created by the data mining community as like a prank. And so they like created this really elaborate prank to like prank all the news channels. And they did it, and everyone was like reporting on it. It's like, And so it's like, that's misinformation. And everyone is in the Destiny community, news community, was guilty of talking about that. And then we all had to backtrack and be like, well, we got bamboozled. And,
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, it's tough. It's tough to control and moderate that misinformation. And I don't envy being the owner of Twitter. That's for sure. So, but moving on to the next stuff, we've got some Unrecord gameplay. So this is a little bit off of the Destiny topic, so we'll stay on this for just a moment. But I wanted to share with you all this super trending game that is hyper realistic, because it's just fascinating. And could you imagine if Destiny was this realistic, or if this is the future of games? So this is what it looks like. We'll show just a little clip of the gameplay here. This is not body cam footage of a real person. This is actual gameplay of a video game. As you can see here, you got, mantle over the object. You're engaging with a combatant. You've got, comms that you can do, different interactions, stuff like that. That's not a real, person being shot in that gameplay. That's literally just, this is a person in a video game. This is just like you playing Destiny Crucible right now. This is like playing Escape from Tarkov, except extremely realistic. And this game has caused a lot of controversy and, a lot of excitement. People are like, whoa, I want to play a game like that. So let me know your thoughts about a game like that. What do you think about that in the chat as well? We'll be asking the live chat. Would you play that game? Do you think this game is dangerous? What are your thoughts about this, Dwayne?
It looks interesting. I don't know about the whole controversy of it, but I can see, the negative aspects of it for sure. But
yeah,
at the end of the day, it is a video game, right?
That's true.
But it's like, how far do video games go before it's like too realistic?
Isn't that crazy?
I can understand that.
Isn't that
But
crazy?
it does look cool. It's like, imagine Tarkov. You're playing Tarkov, but it's that realistic. Imagine how hard your fast is beating when you got all your loot on you and you're in like a hyper realistic state,
Mm-hmm. That's crazy, right? It's definitely crazy to think about. And it's what is especially the reason why I had controversy, to throw that out there a little bit, is that people were saying, like, I don't know if, like, we've got a lot of, again, too much politics, but we've got, gun violence and stuff like that in America. I don't know if this is good for kids. Like, maybe kids should only be able to play this at a certain age, right? Like, maybe you have to be of a certain age to play this game, because this seems pretty realistic. This feels like you are literally running around with real, guns and literally shooting people, and their interactions just look so wild. And again, it's not fake gameplay. It looked really, really just looks that real. That's where we're at in games. That's how serious games can be. And there's a very thin line between game and reality in a game like that, right? And definitely crazy stuff to see. And I wonder what's the next evolution of this, because it's gotten so much notice and so much attention. We'll see where it goes from here. I think a game like that would probably be, it'll probably not have the best like end game initially, right? It's just more for the experience, or like, whoa, look how crazy this is. Can you imagine that game in like VR though? Can you imagine you put on a headset and it's like so realistic? Like, holy crap. Gaming is about to be, when this becomes common, like we can look back on this podcast or look back at this moment in time, 2023, and be like, wow, that's where it started. And 10 years from now, 20 years from now, it's going to be really crazy to see. And, it's a simulated violence, so I don't know that's necessarily controversial. Only time will tell what happens with a game like this, how it's going to be regulated, how politicians are going to approach this. So we'll see. But we'll move on to the next part, which is the legendary shard farm exploit that we had for all but maybe 6 hours at most. If you were right on top of it and saw it at the very beginning, we were able to pull the class item from last year's Guardian games and delete it. It would cost 700 glimmer to buy it, 777 glimmer to buy it, and then you delete it and you get 4 shards. People were exploiting shards like crazy. I made a video on it. I didn't get any time to actually farm any shards myself, unfortunately. And
I was gone before I even got out of bed.
Jeez, yeah. Some people out there were like, dang it. Other people out there literally got it, exploited it, created a macro and started farming it. And then someone was like, I got 12,000 shards. And I was like, jeez. I was like, 12,000. Like, that's why Bungie has to nerf these things fast. Some people were upset about them nerfing it so fast. But let's be real. Like, these things do need to get nerfed fast before the economy in the game is out of whack. Like, when you start seeing people with, 1.2 million legendary shards, like, you're going to have some problems, I don't think that's healthy for the game. But at the same time, I know some people will be upset because they didn't, other people got to take advantage of it and they didn't, but it's just the way it goes sometimes. But that's why you got to make sure you're subscribed to the channel with notifications on. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
True.
But I try to bring it to you, all the stuff, all the big news as fast as possible. I uploaded that one as fast as I could too. Then we have some more NDA drama we have to get into on this one. This one's interesting. I don't want to linger on this topic too much because nothing really came of this, but we obviously have the broken NDA drama that we were talking about last week, and this is probably the final chapter. I don't think we'll see anything more beyond this, but we have the person that actually revealed all of this. I think their name was like Freezing Dart or something like that. They never gave their source of who it came from, but they actually came out and said that they do think that EK was guilty of this stuff and that he did actually leak all this stuff, and he gave an opinion. He said that he wasn't actually banned in game, which was kind of interesting. And he kind of went on a rant, and it seemed kind of like he just didn't really like him. So I didn't make a video and talk about it too much, but I thought it was an interesting tidbit in the Destiny drama series episode 69-420, where we talk about the weird things that people argue about on Twitter and elsewhere. I thought it was interesting that the actual leaker, the guy who leaked it, is kind of like saying, yeah, he's guilty and all of that, which, again, saying he's guilty and actually showing evidence is another thing. I think a lot of people like to throw guilty out there, or I think this person did it, but it's like, I'm just all about the evidence, show me the evidence and let me decide my own opinion. I think that when people start saying this person did it, that person did it, and I think this and I think that, it loses my attention real quick, because I don't like he said, she said stuff. I'll, show me the evidence and I'll formulate my own opinions. And if there's no evidence, then that's just all hearsay, and we should move on from it and not really stress about it too much. What are your thoughts, though?
I agree. It's like, everyone can have their own opinion, but I mean, especially basing your own opinion off of just what else someone else thinks without any actual real information or proof is just like kind of dumb in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
And obviously Bungie as a private company is not going to come out and be like, well, he did this, this, and this, and we have blah, blah, blah. So
yeah,
that's whatever.
They said their part. They purposely stayed vague, and it's probably better for both parties that way. I don't think that we're going to hear any more. I think truly this is the final chapter of this. So I don't think that we'll have any more developments from this. But of course, if there is more, I'm happy to talk about it. I think a lot of people shy away from the drama and the this and that. And, one thing I've always said about drama is like, I don't care for drama. I'm not like addicted to it or always following or anything like that. But I don't mind talking about it because I think it's noteworthy and it's news and it's something that's like it's actually fair to, at least if you have a respectable opinion and you treat people with respect when you talk about these situations. I don't think there's anything wrong with discussing it because it is a valid point that was top trending today on Twitter, or top trending this week on Twitter. A lot of people were talking about. So, and then Bungie, someone asked in the chat, did Bungie respond to the video of a guy revealing the character deletion bug? No, they actually haven't responded to that. And I didn't really know where to go from here. I don't want to be like, I think I might tag the Destiny 2 team on Twitter and be like, hey, like, could you just get a response on this maybe? Because, like, that'd be good. But I also don't necessarily want to be that guy that's just constantly pestering them about this stuff because I'm not trying to get blocked or something crazy. But, but it is like some seriously valid point being made on the guy who literally recorded from start to finish his character getting deleted. And it was in part due to him clicking the X button, but the character deletion menu shouldn't have popped up at that time. So it would be nice to get a response to that. But at this point in time,
there's a very weird bug or whatever happened there. That's that's dangerous. And that's what everyone does. You just like, I'm in my menu, spam, left click, spam A, whatever.
After you've clicked your character, there's no fear of deleting your character at that point.
Right.
So the character deletion menu coming up is like a glitch. And I could see why Bungie's systems would say, we have not deleted any character. They didn't delete any character. The menu got procced somehow through some sort of back-end script or something. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's causing that prompt to come up at the wrong time and deleting people's characters. So it's the perfect storm where I believe both sides of the party, truthfully, and I think that it does need to be addressed and talked about, and it being swept under the rug at this point in time is odd. And I think that it would be nice if more people ended up, like, I don't want it to happen to more people, but it'd be nice if more people ended up getting footage of it to actually get some traction, because one person showing it kind of becomes anecdotal versus if there was like 3 or 4 people, they're like, hey, this happened to me too. Then it would be like, all right. Or at least if someone had a recording of it procking up and then saying no, and so they didn't get their character deleted, but it procced up, then that would be something, That would be nice. And the other issues, there's so much misinformation or misleading information rather, which is like, there's this other bug that goes around where there's this top clip from Azzacross where he changed characters and it was at the create a new character screen. And people are like, what? New character screen, And
well, that's been happening for years.
Yeah,
that's an old bug.
That's just a different thing. That's what I'm saying. That's just not the same thing. And some people think like, oh, well, that's what happened to them. They got that menu and they clicked on a new character, which I don't think when you click on a new character, it actually does that. I think that I saw. It doesn't let you do anything. I think when you click on a new character, it just gives you an error code or something. If I remember correctly,
It's like a weird situation where you're like connected to your account, but you're not connected with a server. Like something gets disconnected, and then if you do pick a character, it's just like, wait, you already have 3 characters. You can't do this. Yeah, and so I don't think that is those two are not in correlation to each other. They are bugs. No. There are different bugs, but they're not the same bug. And that's, I think some people try to add them together. But from what we saw, and from what's really funny too, is I did these interviews with these individuals on what happened when their characters got deleted. And the exact testimony of what they described from at least 2 people, I believe, was exactly what happened in that video to the video we got, the last video. And I was like, holy crap, that's exactly what they described. And so like it adds some of the believability to it, in my opinion, at least. But I'm sure that's a scary situation for a lot of people that don't have a ton of time to play the game. If your character gets deleted, you have to redo all the campaigns, all of your fragments, all your subclasses, everything.
That's just horrible.
Plus all the loot that was on your character is gone. Like,
that's just horrible.
That's a terrible situation. They should at the very least put it in like the known issues or say something.
Yeah. It would be really nice.
Don't spam whatever, don't press whatever when you pick a character,
Yeah. Really, really, they're going to need to do an update and change the way you delete characters, as my opinion. And I hope that they actually address it because it's noteworthy. Or at least if they're going to address it and be like, this never happened, or this footage was faked, at least just say that then, like, I don't know, like, just whatever, say something at least. But moving on to the next topic, we're going to talk about Xur this week. We had the arrival of Xur on Friday, as per usual. And he brought with him a lot of garbage, but we're going to talk a little bit about, we got a brass attacks, little frenzy, sidearm, void sidearm, Sidearms just got a big buff. This isn't the god roll or anything that impressive, but I just wanted to at least throw it out there that there's, if you're going to use a Void Sidearm, you got that option there. I don't know if it's the best one overall. What do you think is the best Void Sidearm? Do you have any opinion or idea of that?
I know the Seventh Seraph one is really good.
Yeah, I was using that one.
One of the faster firing ones got surrounded.
We posted that PSA of Banshee having that, right?
Yep.
And so hopefully some people grab that. Good. I've been using that, and I was like, this thing
would feel good. I think it's got Surplus Frenzy.
It's like the 2 burst. Yeah, it would feel nuts, and I think the 2 bursts are pretty lethal too. Obviously, got to get pretty close, but so that's there.
Rastax also has higher zoom than most of the other sidearms in the game, so it has pretty good range as well.
Yeah. And then I saw a couple other people talking about the Iglo shotgun with incandescent, saying God roll and grab this now or something. And I was like, wait a dang minute. So clickbait or not clickbait?
Said it 1,000 times. I'll say it again. You guys gotta stop with the incandescent. It's so bad. It's so bad. Well, now you want me to use it on a shotgun? You're trolling. You're trolling. There's no way. 30 scorch after a kill? That's horrendous.
It always makes me laugh sometimes. We're all guilty of this. All content creators in Destiny, we're all guilty of getting excited about something that's really not necessarily meta defining. And there's nothing wrong with getting excited about something, but at least acknowledge it for what it is and be like, this is fun, this is cool, this is quirky, but like, this is insane. You need this. Must have shotgun. I can't believe Zer has this. It's like, all right, you need to stop. You need help. It's like, we're like, I don't know. People just eat it up. And I get it, but I get that that's how you get people to watch the content. And again, everyone's guilty. I'm guilty. Everyone's guilty. But that one's an interesting one to watch. I was like, really? Incandescent shotgun. And then my favorite part is I wanted to turn everyone that watches this podcast or everyone that interacts with my community into a skeptic themselves. Not trying to say never roast or harass anyone, content creator, but be a skeptic. And when people say this is insane, critique where they're using it and be like, oh, you're just using it in a low level lost sector. You mean like where I could just use anything? Like I could literally just run around with a glaive, a sidearm, an SMG, an auto rifle. I could hip fire a scout rifle. Like I could just use anything and beat this thing. It's like, put your money where your mouth is. If you're going to say something's god roll, insane, a must have weapon, use it, beat a GM with it in a fast time or efficiently or clear some crazy chance with it. Like show something to be like, this is why this is insane, and like actually use it in challenging content. Or just say that it's fun for strikes and not good for anything else, and then we're good. But
just be like, this makes a cool looking explosion when you kill things. It doesn't do anything,
yeah.
But it looks cool.
Yeah. And then the other interesting part though that I will say for the LUCKYY shotgun as well is like, it's not like, it's like a craftable weapon. Like you could have already crafted the exact god roll. So one,
yeah.
But two, which is that you might want to grab the bump in the night. People have been speculating that next season, when you can add deep sight to weapons, you could grab bump in the night now and then potentially add deep sight to it next season, and then so you can craft it, right?
Yeah, just hold like 5 of them in your vault till next season, and then put them all on there.
However, we have no guarantees that this is going to work this way, so I do want to give a disclaimer, because in case people blow all their legendary shards and they're like, oh my god, Lucky 10p ruined my life. I spent 250 legendary shards. My last 250, I bought 5 bump in the nights, and it doesn't even work and on any weapons pre-season 21, right? Hopefully it does work that way. Hopefully Bungie doesn't cross some wires and it doesn't work like that. But if it does, that's actually not a bad strat, because bump in the night is a pretty good rocket. And so many people I know be joining all these raids because I'm doing all these raid Sherpas now with GMs or raid Sherpas for the challenges. And so many people show up with these rockets that are just so bad. And I'm like, why are you using this? Why are we using this rocket? So bump in the night is a solid one. And definitely, you might want to snag that. You might want to snag the Iglo shotgun. You might want to snag some stuff from Zer. But again, no guarantees. And maybe you can craft them because you grabbed those. Because a lot of people are upset right now because you can't get some of these weapons like the Mida SMG and all of that, and a few others. They're like, I can't even get these weapons anymore. I can't even craft these because they're available at like Banshee.
Put all those things like in the helm or something. Put it in the war table where it's like previous seasonal things. But
it's coming next season though.
I had like a year to get most of them.
That's true. It's coming next season. You've been
Yeah.
for a season. But it's coming next season. Like you'll be able to.
They also can't get all those weapons anyway to drop even to make the red border.
Well, you can get them from Banshee next season, right? So you could get them from Banshee, and then you could pick them up and then add the deep sight to them, right? Like, so.
Well, there is a chance that Banshee sells them or Zerg sells them, but.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to sell them. He's going to sell them. Banshee's going to sell them. Zerg's going to sell them. We've seen them rotate throughout the season. Next season, they're going to rotate. You're going to go, you're going to pick it up, you're going to add deep sight to it, and then you're going to craft it. Like, I think, I mean.
Also, he only needs to sell like once, right? You can just buy like 5 of them.
Exactly, yeah. If you can craft it. Yeah, you have to just do it on a unique one each time. Yeah, so it should work.
Or hopefully they don't make it like, you can do this 3 times a week or something.
Yeah.
I guess you could just save them still, but.
It sounds like it's going to be expensive, though. So I don't think people should be like, that's the way from now on. I think it sounds like it's going to be expensive. But at least it doesn't seem like the best system ever, but it does give people the option to be able to craft those weapons. And so I like that, just as a little PSA.
It's a good idea for good weapon.
Figured I would mention that for everyone. And then we got the Trials new matchmaking is out. What are your thoughts on the new matchmaking, just as a precursor to what you say? Now, instead of, we used to have a non-flawless pool and a flawless pool, and how it worked was this. It was a semi-convoluted system. On Friday and Saturday for the first 48 hours, it was just a normal pool. And then starting on Sunday at reset time and leading until Tuesday at reset time, it was the flawless pool. And in that pool, it was much more difficult. If you went flawless at least one time, you had to match only other people that went flawless. So it allowed you, if you didn't go flawless, to at least get one a week was kind of the system. That was the gist of it. But it obviously punishes heavily those that actually want to play Trials and Grand Trials. So now we have this new revamped version of this where we've got the Challenger pool, which is flawless pool revamp, and then we've got the Practice pool, which is non-flawless pool revamped, that go live simultaneously. It was hard to judge exactly when these things went live. What was your experience in Trials this week, though?
I played on Friday, a couple hours after reset, for like 3 or 4 hours. And I don't know if the player base population was low. I never checked. I don't know if it was because the map is bad or because it's just a machine gun. But I had a horrible time playing Trial. It felt like I was playing skill-based matchmaking, all 7 matches. Like me and Crimson were duo queue for the first few, and we were like sweating. Our teammate was terrible. The other team was like really good. It was rough. And then even when we 3-stacked, the games were like close, and it was not easy. And that was just on Friday. It was not a good time. Plus, this insurance is terrible.
Yes. Yeah, it says the stats are 369,000 players at this time, which were about less than 12 hours from Trials ending. So we'll probably cap out around 380,000 roughly. And so, yeah, it's a decently healthy amount of players. Yeah, that's a decently healthy amount of players. So it sounds like
it felt terrible.
What everyone was saying, at least the content creators, I didn't play much Trials this weekend. I was like, I'll just run the GMs and just kind of in a process of not enjoying PvP as much lately. So I'm kind of just doing PvE things. But what everyone was saying was just felt like skill-based matchmaking.
Yes, it very much did.
And so Bungie has done it. They've introduced skill-based matchmaking to Trials, basically, but they renamed it as something else. And sounds like from at least everyone's experience that I know of, is basically where it's at right now. Which I feel like, I don't know the statistics of this, and I would love to see the statistics of this. I would love to see if Bungie is doing this so that more people on the lower end get flawless, because I know that something that they've always disliked is the amount of people getting flawless is such a smaller percentage. Obviously, it's statistically going to be hard to do that because you have to win 7 matches, right? Mm-hmm. It's going to be impossible for everyone to get flawless. Like mathematically, it's impossible for everyone to get flawless. But I think that they want to raise that percentage up higher and higher, because I think it was something absurdly low when D1 ended. Like, I don't want to make up statistics, but I felt like it was something around like 15% or less of all the players that played Destiny 1 went to the Lighthouse. And so I think that their goal is to raise that up. I remember when they were talking about trial statistics before, they want to raise that up. They want more people to make it to the Lighthouse. And so I think that maybe with this new matchmaking, it makes the people that actually are good match other people that are good in skill-based matchmaking, and the people not so good are down there in this practice, like little kiddie pool, so they can actually get their first flawless ever. Maybe those that couldn't even get it in the non-flawless pool previously. I don't know. Who knows? We'll see what this.
I mean, if there's skill-based matchmaking, like, you should not go flawless basically at all if you're not very good. Like, the odds of you winning 7 games in skill-based matchmaking, even if you're not good, playing other people that aren't very good is not, it's not good odds.
Yeah,
You know?
if you only win 50% of your games, which is next season, they're going to add. It's going to be the same matchmaking, but they're going to add a second mercy. So next season, if you won 50% of your games with skill based, then even still it wouldn't be that good for you. But I don't know. I don't know if this is going to be the system that they go with. Maybe we need 3 mercies. Maybe the year is 2050 and we have 7 mercies.
You got 10 mercies. You got to win 3 games.
Yes, win 3 games. Win a round in 1 game. Go Lighthouse. I'm just kidding, but who knows what happens in the future. And so that's what I think. Some people have expressed different opinions though, but I think that most people are saying it was really tough, at least on Twitter. And I read Twitter pretty regularly and see what the opinions are of the elite content trials content creators, the guys who are god tier, and see what they're talking about. So it seems like that. We'll see what happens.
I'd like to know the opinions of some of the lower skill players as well.
Yeah, I'd like to see what they're like. If someone's like, I am 0.4 and I finally got my first flawless and I've been trying for like 3 months, I'd be like, cool. I'd like to see. Or if they're also miserable too, then I'd like to hear that too.
Yeah.
Trials has launched and the matchmaking has been received a good amount of criticism. At least next season, if this matchmaking does suck for the rest of the season, at least next season we know we got the double mercy coming, which I think will help. I mean, obviously, more statistically speaking, more people will get flawless with double mercy. Like that's impossible to not, because you're going to have more chances to lose. You could win 3 games, lose 1, 3 games, lose another one, and still you just win 1 more game and you make it to the Lighthouse. Before that's not how it worked.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people just say that they'd rather have flawless pullback than keep playing whatever this is, which is a shame.
Oh god, yeah. I mean, I could see some of that, but I don't know, and it's definitely a tough one. Definitely a tough one, and we'll have to give it some time. We'll see what happens when it's an SMG week again. I think Bungie will be smart, and they're going to make next week the SMG week, especially after all the criticism and hate that's come from this. I think we'll see Destiny. We'll get the SMG next season, rather. So, next topic we're going to talk about, though, is we've got Bungie's new collaboration. They're working with a new game. We've seen Destiny 2 X Fortnite. We saw Destiny 2 X, what else was it? Assassin's Creed. What else have we seen? Do you know of any other collabs? Among Us, yes. That was a big one. Yes. And now we're getting Destiny 2 X Arknights, a game that no one has ever heard of. No one has ever heard of this game. But apparently it's big for them. I don't know where this collaboration came from. Apparently people like Arknights. I've actually watched a few reviews of the game, and it's a gacha game, so it's got that mechanic in it. But a lot of people like this one. They say it's one of the better gacha games, if not the best gacha game. So looks like they're collaborating with a game that's high up there in terms of its credibility and stuff. So I think it's probably a good thing overall. Not entirely too sure about it. Maybe we get a waifu ornament. Just saying. Some waifu ornaments out there. Waifu ghost projection. Maybe get, I don't know, maybe like blow a kiss and say ooh woo or something. Emote. Right? That would be, I'm just saying it. I'm not saying that's what I want. I'm just saying I could see it happening with this.
I don't understand the collab with a game like that. Like,
yeah.
Are they putting Destiny like character models in their game? How does that work?
I don't know. It feels like our stuff is going in theirs. I don't know. I don't think that their stuff is coming to ours.
Yeah, I don't understand how it goes either way. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we don't know how that game works. You haven't played that game, right?
No.
So we don't know
what it is.
I'm sure we'll just have there'll probably be some skins in that game or something for that. But it's probably just a collaboration for. Here's my conspiracy theory, and again, this is my non-research conspiracy theory. So put the spinful hat on. Does this tie in with the $100 million loan or whatever that Bungie was given? Bungie was given $100 million from I want to say it was from a Chinese investment company. I don't know if it was Tencent or something, but I thought that was to develop a different game. I don't know if there's some sort of connections going on here. There's something going on there. Okay, just hear me out.
Yeah, I have no idea.
There's something. Someone in the comments will know. They'll NetEase, right? NetEase, right? They did something with NetEase, and so I'm I thought that was a Chinese-based game, and so this game has, I don't know where this game's originated from, but it had vibes. I was right. in my smooth Titan brain, I was connecting the dots with it being a part of that brand deal or something. And I was like, okay, this is why they're doing this, because it didn't make much sense beyond that, you know. But I can definitely see, like, we've got Destiny 2 x Minecraft in the future, right? We've got Destiny 2 x Call of Duty in the future. We got, what else do we got here? Destiny 2 x, what else can we throw this game in, right? What other games would you like to see collaborate with Destiny? Comment in the chat. What games would you like to see Destiny 2 collaborate with? And what do you think, Dwayne?
Oh yeah, I don't know. I mean, it seems like a good decision just for like most popular games to collab with each other, right? Like,
yeah,
you make cool skins from another game. It's like people are gonna buy them, and then you get like royalties or whatever, like free money, right?
Absolutely. You know, it's kind of funny thing. I don't know why this weird thought came in my head, but it's almost like the big gaming companies taking a page out of the content creators who collaborate, right? Like the big content creators all collaborate, right? Yeah. Like it's like, wait a minute, we're not competing against each other. You have a freaking game that's very different in its structure and player base, and I have a game that's different structure. Let's cross promote each other, and if people like the different styles of games, then they'll play them. Most people play a variety of games anyways, so most people play. Destiny 2 x GTA. I'm not ready for that one. I'm not ready for that one. Destiny 2 and Apex. I could see that. I could see that happening. Definitely. Destiny 2 and Dark Souls. Spider-Man.
Immortal and Apex.
Borderlands. What are the games you play? Like Risk of Rain. What is that? Destiny 2 and Risk of Rain.
Brought open.
Yeah. You know the real.
Cool. You could put D2 characters in Risk of Rain for sure.
Yeah. The real one that does need to happen at some point in time. I don't know if it'll ever happen because there's. I'm not trying to say Destiny is a ripoff of this franchise, but clearly the Destiny devs are big Star Wars fans. Let's just take a moment to just talk about this. You know, space, sci-fi, the Death Star, the Traveler. Have you seen what the Death Star
Space
did?
Magic.
It lights a giant beam coming out from it. The Death Star has a huge beam of light coming out. Has anyone seen anything like that in Destiny recently? Oh, yes, that's right. We literally just did that exact thing. Like Death Star and Traveler analogy. You've got so many different things in the game that are just Star Wars-esque. That's all I'm saying is I want a Boba Fett Titan ornament set. That's all I'm saying.
That would be sick.
Take my money, Bungie.
Boba Fett, Mandalorian.
Oh my god.
Get a freaking Wookiee skin, dude.
Yes, take my money.
Lightsaber.
Take my money. Take my money.
That'd be epic.
A lightsaber glaive, lightsaber sword. Oh my god.
I really want the Assassin's Creed Titan chest piece with the shield on the back. That looks sick. But I also don't want to buy this set.
Yeah, that one does look really good. You know what I just bought recently? I am guilty pleasure if I spent $6 whatever on the Hunter chest piece. It gives you 2 dodges. What's it called?
6 Coyote.
6 Coyote ornament. I was looking at my Hunter and I'm like, why are these giant ropes around me? I'm like, so ugly. It's like they just make the original exotic look so ugly. I'm like, and then there's this ornament and it looked significantly better, but it didn't look like that bad. Or it didn't look that great, but I was like, it looked just so much better that I was like, goodbye $6, and I bought it. But I got that one. That's
I did buy the new Dune Marcher ornament when it came out.
Did you buy Touch of Grass?
I did not.
Not a real gamer.
I bought the heart ornament, and then I got her.
An actual fake guardian. But then we have Hunters could have a Jawa skin for the Star Wars collab. Oh my god! Don't get me started. Now that would be amazing. That would be
Warlocks get Jar Jar Binks. Get on.
That would be perfect. Oh my gosh, that would be the absolute best. How would you do Warlocks though in that space? That would actually be kind of tough. I don't know what they would do.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's like a ton of outfits that would work for sure.
Warlocks kind of have like a Darth Vader vibe to them. Like
true.
I mean, like there's a certain helmet I've seen like has like a Darth Vader-esque like little. I mean, I don't know.
Cape and everything.
Well, it could be a Sith Lord, dude. There's so many that could. There's the Star Wars universe that they're creating now. If you haven't been watching all these TV shows, there's a Star Wars universe on all the different characters. It's easy to make that happen, and that's the one Bungie would feel really proud of, I'm sure, because they'd be like, "Holy crap, we made it! We came full circle. We started off as being these super Star Wars nerds that created this game that's like basically a mock Star Wars in a lot of ways, in terms of its like setting and like certain vibes of it. Like I don't know, I just always have gotten like Star Wars undertones to the game. Obviously, it's not like a rip off of Star Wars. I wouldn't think anyone would ever say that, but there's undertones of like these people like Star Wars to a certain degree. But let's move on to the next one. We had Bungie's new collab, and then we had the world's first solo Ron, the whole entire encounter. We've had world's first solo Nezarac that was like last week, and now we have world's first solo the entire raid. Like, God, that's crazy. That's an impressive. That is it's crazy that I don't want to say it's just the raid's that easy, because that is a really tough raid in general, but it's crazy that someone is so good and that people are so good. Guardians are so powerful that they can literally solo into an activity that's meant to be beat by 6 people and not die, and beat the whole thing and not even die. Like, yeah, that's crazy. That's where we're at in terms of challenge in this raid. Will someone ever, and when that challenge was presented by Evan F, a lot of people were like criticizing him, like, oh, someone was like, I'll donate $1 million because no one will ever beat this. You know, it's like, oh, I remember.
Are you sure about that?
They retweeted him and were like, oh, really? Where's the money? Pay up, you know? But so here, I'm going to issue $1 million challenge. I'm not actually $1 million challenge. I don't have that money. Which is beat the solo Ron master. Flawless. Solo Ron master flawless. There you go. That's my challenge, right? And Evan F gave out $1,000. I will give out 1,000 silver to whoever does that. 1,000 silver. You can take that to the bank. 1,000 silver. All right. If you can solo flawless master Ron all the way through. Now let's see if anyone actually gets that done. Part of me is
crazy comparing like solo Crota to solo Ron.
Yep.
Like solo Crota is like a joke, right? But solo
absolutely
Ron, that is crazy.
It is, especially when you see all the build swap and you have to have like 6 builds for Nezarac alone. It's like, wow. Like, you got to know your stuff. Someone said, give me 2 days. Yeah.
To be fair, solo Crota is only possible because like self-res or whatever. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to remember back. Initially, it was self-res, and then people were able to do it eventually with other classes. Because I remember watching Tfue, ironically. That was the first stream I ever watched. The first time I ever clicked on Tfue's stream was he was soloing Master Crota, I want to say, on all 3 characters using different classes. I remember him like bubbling.
I don't remember what happened. Something about like the bridge encounter changed. I don't remember what.
Something happened.
Because before you'd have to like go over and then like die to get back.
Oh, I'm talking about at least solo Crota. I'm not talking about the whole raid. I guess bit of nuance there, but I was talking about like specifically the Crota encounter. I don't know about the other encounters, but yeah.
So before on the bridge, you could only complete it when you'd fly across with a sword, and then you'd have to die over there and then self-res and spawn back on the starting side.
Yeah. But that's an impressive challenge, and it kind of speaks to the craziness, especially when you watch like all the different build swap, and it speaks to the craziness of Destiny players, and also somewhat to the easiness of the raid. I mean, what was the raid just before that? Vow? Like, did someone ever solo the whole flawless all of Vow? Is that even possible? Like, I don't think it's mechanically possible, right? I'm trying to remember.
I don't know.
I feel like it's not. Like, you can't even solo like you can't even solo the final boss guy. You can't even solo Rolk, right? Like, the mechanics block you out of it. So,
yeah, true.
I kind of like that.
Caretaker was cracked when that happened, though. That was pretty crazy.
I kind of like when things can be soloed and people are that crazy and optimized so much. I kind of like when it's possible, because I think the challenge is cool. Like, I feel like Bungie should, in the back of their mind, like make that a conscious thing. Like, let's make it soloable, but let's also still make it really tough. I feel like they kind of missed the mark on the second one, but I like that it's soloable. I think that's a cool thing. And the next one we're talking about is a bit of speculation, which is Bungie using Unreal Engine rumors for one of their new IPs that they're working on, which was really wild to think about. Definitely crazy, especially a lot of people are not enjoying certain elements of Destiny and the Tiger engine. I mean, I've tried to do some research on the Tiger engine and know a bunch about it, but there's really not a lot of information about that as far as I found, at least.
Yeah, it's like their proprietary whatever.
Yeah. And so, but it seems like a lot of people think Unreal Engine is greater than Tiger engine. Comment that below if you agree or disagree. I think a lot of people will say Unreal Engine is goated and Tiger engine is a potato or whatever. So I don't know if that's a fair representation. Yeah, it's old, but I think they've said they've updated it. We've seen blog articles from them saying they've updated it. And so I don't know how that all works. I don't know what that means, but at least it's interesting that they might be using that for one of their new IPs, and we'll see what the potential is for that. So definitely interesting stuff to see, and there's interesting speculation there with that. And then the last bit we'll be talking about, which is Destiny 3 is trending and has been trending. Obviously, this is a topic that many people have speculated over the years, especially as we had our D1, as we call it now, but Destiny and its 3-year life cycle. And we had D2, and it's obviously well past its 3-year life cycle. And Bungie has stated previously that they're not trying to do a Destiny 3, but a lot of people, I think they get frustrated with certain elements of Destiny, like the server issues, and they're like, D3 already, you know? And I see it on Twitter, and I made a good post response. A lot of people liked this response because someone was saying, we need D3. I was like, you better have some good reasons, because I'm not just giving up my loot for nothing. Like, what do you mean? You know? And I bet Bungie devs literally shake their fists when they read some of these posts about D3, because they're like, we just did like subclass 2.0 for everything. Like, we just reworked the whole game. We just did like complete build crafting, new systems, and y'all are just like, really cool. New game time now. Right. It's like, no, like they've invested so much into this game and this IP that to just be like, yeah, let's just start all over again and do it over again. It always rubs me the wrong way. And I feel like it's such a bad idea. And I don't know why. I feel like I'm on the minority in this argument, because I'm like, I do not want Destiny 3. I do not in any way want Destiny 3 unless Bungie can actually come up with some extremely valid points for the reason why we need Destiny 3, and nothing that they can do to Destiny 2 will ever amount to what they could accomplish with Destiny 3. Because your loot matters. The stuff you've grinded for matters, and losing all of that feels and sounds awful, because we already did that. If you were a D1 player, you know what that was like. It didn't seem as bad at the time, but when you actually lost everything, you're like, holy crap, I lost everything. Like, I worked so hard for all these weapons, and they're just gone. Like, it was awful, you know? And it's
a tough situation in a game like Destiny to like lose everything. It's not like Call of Duty where, you know, they released a new Call of Duty and they're, you know, a lot of similar weapons in a similar universe, and you just level them up and it's whatever, right?
Yep.
Very different.
Definitely true. Which is interesting to think about. I mean, now that we have the Destiny universe, maybe Destiny and Bungie will take a page out of the movie universe, like you have the Marvel universe now, right? And you've got the Star Wars universe, and they create all these new spin-off TV shows and spin-off movies and all that. Maybe they'll have the Destiny universe. Maybe there'll be a Destiny universe game, a different one. Maybe we will get like not a D3, but a different game in the Destiny universe, and that would be interesting. And maybe the two could live simultaneously. That would be wild. I don't know if that would actually be worth it or good for the franchise necessarily, but I could see something like that. But I don't think that it's going to be hard to convince me of D3. The only thing I could even think of is that if Bungie was like, Unreal Engine, Destiny in Unreal Engine, D3, it's going to be way better. Your melees are actually going to work, you know, then maybe I'll be like, all right, let's do that, you know. But that is a hefty project. I have tweeted about this before and read the feedback from various developers of other games and stuff like that. A lot of people responded to this when I posted this. It got trending a few months ago, and that you would literally have to rebuild all the assets from the ground up. So there's no porting to Unreal Engine. There's no copy paste. It's literally just you rebuild every single thing.
You also have to make it work properly.
Yeah.
A new engine as well.
Yeah. And so it probably is going to have its own, like, imagine they do it and it has its own issues. Maybe instead of bad melee registration, we have, I don't even know what we have. Bad something bullet registration.
On bullets, yeah.
Yeah, like, it could be worse. Like,
it's just not working right or something.
Although I will say I doubt it, though, because I mean, maybe it's just popular opinion seems to love Unreal Engine. Or Unreal Engine just seems to be the saving grace of engines or whatever, like the best.
Yeah, supposedly it is the GOAT.
Yeah, that's so.
I have no idea, but
I would assume. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. You can act like I'm game dev Lucky Tempe right now, but I'm gonna say that it definitely seems like that would be, especially if the rumors of they're using Unreal Engine for their new IP, it seemed like things are trending more towards that. And maybe in the long run, there could be something like that, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. And I always just ask people when they say Destiny 3, you know, comment down below if you want Destiny 3. Like, comment, what is the reason why Destiny 3? And are you willing to lose everything? Everything. You lose everything. That was something that
I
actually...
think when most people throw out D3, they have like this perfect dream of what it would be, you know? Like, it's literally just D2, and then we get also everything from D1, and everything works properly, and we get to keep everything, and then we get to expand the game from that point. But it's like, the amount of time that would have to go in and the amount of money that would go in to recreate the entirety of D2 and everything that you have, and somehow you get to keep it.
Yep.
While making content for D2 in its current state is like insane.
Yeah. And also, like, I mean, maybe I'm wrong in my interpretation, but I feel like if you got to keep everything you have right now, that's not Destiny 3, right? Like, that's just Destiny 2, but with, I don't know how to describe that. That's just Destiny 2.5. That's just a remade, remastered Destiny 2.
Right.
That's not Destiny 3, though. Like, you're looking for a new start. You're looking for a new game, a new narrative, and obviously this topic keeps trending, and obviously we're going to keep talking about this again and again and again because we're going to hit the final shape, and everyone thinks after the final shape, that's it. That's Destiny 3 time. And I don't think they're going that route. They literally said from Luke Smith himself, he said, Dota 2 is a great game that just keeps going on and on and on and on. They keep making updates. And that's what Destiny 2 is going to be. It's going to be a game that just keeps making updates on and on and on. And that's how it's going to go. Like, you're just going to keep playing Destiny 2. And the universe is already set. We know that having the IP and the universe and ownership of that is that's what really matters. They even did this huge multi-billion-dollar deal with Sony. They still remain all the rights and everything. So this is their cash cow. Destiny 2 is their cash cow. This game doesn't ever come to an end. It may not be wildly successful like Minecraft or, I don't know, Mungus in its heyday or something, right? Fortnite in its heyday, right? But it will never, this game's not coming to an end anytime soon. This game goes on forever, in my opinion. And you can mark my words. You come back to this podcast on April 24th, 2023 and be like, aha, Destiny died. You're wrong, LUCKYY. But no, like, in my opinion, this game just keeps going on. And if this game dies down in popularity, like people get kind of tired of sidearms getting buffed, nerfed for the 412th time, like, I can't do it again. Then, and the game finally, the population dwindles, then they just invest less into it, or they invest more into it and do a bigger revamp of things and include new, like, you can just think outside of the box for just a little bit and realize how crazy this game could get. Like, look at this clip just played of the exotic auto rifle from Lightfall, right? And it has like the auto rifle mode and the grenade launcher mode. Imagine a complete rework where all the different exotic rifles, all these different exotic weapons have multi-purpose modes, like, that'd be crazy, Lord of Wolves shoots shotgun shots and a rocket or something, like, I don't know, like, if you can mix these things together, this game can keep getting, the depth to the game can keep getting lower and lower and lower in a good way, and you can bring so much more depth and reworks to this game where the possibilities are limitless. So this game just goes on forever for sure. And Bungie uses this as their cash cow to fund their other projects, which could also be extremely successful. They seem to be focusing a lot on esports and stuff. We'll see, though. We'll see what happens with time. So they're trying to
I think they're just kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place with D3, because it's like they've already put so much money, time, and effort and resources into D2, and then it's like with the spaghetti code of the game, they're trying their best to keep it up and running and keep it running well and making content, but then they're trying to be like, well, in the next 10 years, when people want 10,000 vault space because they have 1 million guns, like, what do we do? You know?
True. There will always be. I mean, where we're at now was not even in the realm of possibilities for Bungie in 2014. Was not even like or at least let's just say even when they first started making this game, which I believe was like more than 10 years ago at this point when they started to conceptualize and develop this game. Where we're at now is a live service game with all these elements to it. It was not even conceptualized, so you don't know where things could go. But I think that a restart of sorts, Destiny 3, like we got with Destiny. People say like, yeah, we'll do like we did with Destiny 2. I'm like, well, how well did that go for us, right? How well did that go? You really want that?
Yeah, I quit the game for like a year because it was horrendous.
Yeah, like everyone stopped playing that. I will never stop saying the stat, and I know people that watch the stream a lot will be like, this guy again with the stat. I'll never stop laughing at the stat. Destiny 2, week 1 trials with Cyrus, and week 2 had over 1 million players. Right now we're looking at 300,000+ this week in trials, right? Over 1 million the first 2 weeks. The last week had 50,000. That's how far it fell. From 1 million to 50,000. That is insane. That is a very big drop. It's like, what is that? 95% loss of player base? Like, holy crap. crap, that was bad. That was really, really bad. And we don't need that again. We definitely don't need that again. So, you don't like the trials matchmaking? Look, I'm going to read the chat. If you got any questions, feel free to ask away in the chat. This is the Q&A section. Any questions you have, we'll be reading off and discussing. What have I missed? You missed the whole podcast. You just showed up. You missed everything. What are you thinking? You're going to have to go back and watch it on YouTube. It'll be up. It'll be uploaded on YouTube, and we're going to have timestamps for every single topic. So if you're like, hey, I don't really care about Twitter's new policies. I want to know about Xur. I want to know your guys' opinions on Xur. I want to know about World's First Solar Run. You got timestamps. They're going to be there, so it's going to be awesome. The new Trials matchmaking, I only played just a little bit of Trials this week, so I can't give my fair opinion. I only played like a handful of games, and then I was like, yeah, I'm just going to do GMs. So it sounds like it's bad, though, from the community's opinion, at least. I quit year one until middle of Forsaken. Forsaken brought a lot of people back. Forsaken was epic. Forsaken was the start of a golden age. I still to this day think that Last Wish raid was the best raid. You can fight me. I'll fight every one of you to the death. Last Wish was the best raid that ever happened. Even now, with the wish wall and everything, and the encounters and mechanics, I freaking still goated raid, but whatever.
Yeah, Last Wish. Dreaming City as a whole.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing.
Planetary Destination is so awesome. So cool with the cycles and everything. And the dungeon that's there and just everything. The weapons, the aesthetic. That was just such a cool time to play Destiny. That and Taken King, if you weren't there, if you know, you know. But if you don't know, you don't know. You don't know what you missed out on. Because you missed out on premium content, like a time when being a Guardian was epic. And don't worry about the whole new level system Bungie's going to be doing in Season 21. The new leveling system in Season 21 is an interesting topic. I haven't seen exactly what it's going to do. I mean, obviously, no more leveling in the game is going to feel odd. Like, what do you think about that, Dwayne? What do you think about Season 21 leveling?
Yeah, we don't know exactly how it works, but supposedly it's just like your artifact is just like your power level. So, like, you can potentially use sunset weapons and you don't have to do pinnacles and all that. It could be very cool. I'd love to use my old sunset weapons that I've kept, some of the ones that I really like.
Yeah.
And I hate doing pinnacles every season. I basically just don't do them.
It's so repetitive. It's so repetitive.
Like at this point, there's almost no point in doing them except for Trial, which I don't even understand why Trials has like level enabled anyway.
That's going to be the last PvP playlist to lose it then with that. And
like it's supposed to be, people throw around competitive, right? But in that sense, like why is light level enabled as an end game PvP, thing?
Yeah.
It's not, shouldn't be
and then as a side note with that stuff, the part I find interesting is that I feel like Gambit's about to they're about to lose some of their stock because people play Gambit for pinnacles and now there's like,
that's true.
No pinnacle. All right. Bungie better put some good weapons in Gambit or else Gambit, the population is going to be all but 5 Guardians.
Just remove Gambit and put the Gambit memento in Crucible.
Yep. I said it for a while. I said this to Bungie when I was in their studio before Gambit came out. I said something about like, I don't know if you guys are interested in a battle royale, but they're doing pretty well right now. And to this day, I feel like a battle royale probably wouldn't do that well because the population isn't there. But if it was like a 30-person battle royale, or maybe you throw some bots in there, throw some dregs, throw some whatever, like they do in Fortnite now. Literally, Fortnite has like a bunch of bots in like most of the lobbies now because the population isn't there, right? You could figure it out, Bungie. I'm just saying, is Battle Royale, everyone roasted me for saying Battle Royale should Destiny 2, but I think Battle Royale would have done better than Gambit. And I still stand by that. And I'll go to the grave saying that. I'll shake my fist at the sky saying, why? We could have had Battle Royale. But
I think Destiny 2 would also make a very good roguelite.
Interesting.
If you know what those are.
I have no clue what you're talking about.
Well, it's like essentially you get one life, right? It's like permadeath. And you do a run through and you just get random drops. Like you get random weapons, random equipment, random everything. Imagine a game that's D2 and you hit a pillar or whatever, you start your run in like the infinite forest. So it's all randomly generated levels and enemies of all, the races and whatnot. And there's bosses every X amount of levels and they all drop you random weapons. They can drop you random abilities. Imagine like you have Icarus Dash, but you're on Thunder Crash and you have like the Void Warlock melee and a solar grenade, and you got like a G-horn to drop and a, whatever else. Like that would be very cool.
Yeah, definitely. It'd be crazy. And if you die, you lose your loot. Is that?
Yeah, you essentially you run it back, right? In those games, you get like a sort of currency as you run through and kill enemies and defeat bosses that give you like permanent upgrades. Like you die, you go back to the menu, and then you spend those upgrades on like on this next run you get more health or your drops are better or whatever.
Yeah, just make that the strike playlist. Make it,
That would be super cool.
just make that the strike playlist. The lower the tier you do, if you die or if you wipe in it or whatever, you lose like one weapon. You die in a Grandmaster, you lose like everything you have equipped. I don't know. I'm gonna say that's a bit extreme, but I feel like I would like a separate playlist that has something like that. You could turn Gambit into that if you want, or take the Gambit team and have them work on that. And that would actually be pretty cool. Someone in chat typed, we were talking about the best raids. They said, I think that VOW is the best raid. And I just want to say, you need help. You need help. You think that
it
VOW
was a really
is the
good
best
raid
raid?
on
A 4 encounter?
Mode. It was good.
No one, if you come,
mode, it was good.
If you come in this chat saying a 4 encounter raid is the best raid when we have the 5s, then we're already like, no, I'm not doing it. It was a cool raid, but not the best raid. I wouldn't even say it's top 3 of all raids, but it's fine. If Destiny 3 ever did happen, what is one major thing you do not want from Destiny 2? Now that's interesting. Obviously, we talk about Gambit. We can just quickly throw Gambit under the bus again and just completely, just beat a dead horse with that
Gambit's
one.
gone.
Gambit's
Melee
definitely
lunge, gone.
Melee lunge, yep.
They should just do that now. I don't know why it's so hard for them to
It's really not that hard. Just make it
just
AoE.
revamp the melee system. I know people be like, oh, I like punching stuff. Just make it like Overwatch. Literally. It's that easy. You just do like a force palm, and within X amount of meters in front of your melee, things get hit and you don't move at all. It's that easy.
Absolutely. It's super
I
simple.
don't know why it's so hard.
Literally, I think that was how it worked in D1. With at least Warlock melees, right? It was like AoE.
Yeah. I mean, it's essentially the Warlock melee animation, but just don't make your character move. That's it. You don't need to pull them to you.
So simple. But the different characters do have different melee styles, so I could see there being some
that's what I mean. Like, just revamp it as a whole, so you don't even have to punch anything. Everyone just does a force palm. Make it that.
That's what it should be. I would definitely be.
Freaking space magic, whatever power.
Yeah.
I'm sure a Titan can force palm out of his hand.
Someone's talking about the weapons coming back because the levels being gone. They said, imagine Mountaintop's going to be back now, and Revoker. Revoker, they actually nerfed Reversal of Fortune, so Revoker's not a big deal. Mountaintop,
you use
they nerfed
old
as well.
Wendigo, which is just better.
That's going to be crazy.
Use my old Wendigo. With blinding nades, and it does more damage.
Yep. So are you going to be able to use sunset weapons? I believe sunset weapons will be on the menu next season.
That's what people are speculating. We don't know exactly how.
Don't know.
That would be crazy.
I
can use my Kindled Orchid with Kill Clip Rampage. I can use my old Wendigo and a Mountaintop.
Yep.
Or Izzy.
Place Gambit with Spare Racing for D3. Now that's what I'm talking about.
Honestly, base.
Trying to read through all the different comments because we got a live stream while we're doing this. So I'm going to read through the comments and answer them so that way you understand the context. If you're out there watching this on YouTube, you're like, what the heck is this guy talking about right now? So we've got, looking at that. Spare rations.
You ever think they're going to bring the Black Armory weapons back? They were so cool.
That would be cool.
Good.
That would be really cool. They should do that. They're going to save that for like a dead point in time. Like probably the season before Lightfall. I could see that happening maybe, Like, cause that's when things get pretty dead.
I see that.
Yeah, hype it up. They did that before. Like they know that like the last season before the new expansion is like, we got to hype it up with something that's not, the new content. Because next season's the new content, so we got to get the numbers back up. So I feel like I could see the Black Army weapons coming back, whatever the last season is before the final shape.
D3. I don't know if there is any person that has a Kindled Orchid with rangefinder and explosive payload that still is out there. But I know somebody has to have it. And I've never seen them before. I've never seen anybody with it.
Really?
Ever.
It exists?
Somebody has to have it.
It's a unicorn of a weapon.
Somebody has to have it.
That's
I never got that roll. I was so mad.
What are you going to use? That's a PvP roll then.
Yeah.
You're just going to lynch people like crazy?
You had rangefinder and explosive payload, and it had good stats.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
That would be
disgusting.
Can you imagine the one guy that hung on to that? It's like, this is my time.
I haven't seen him.
Uguay, my time has come.
Where are they?
Yes.
Someone find them.
Cool. Well, it looks like I've read through all the questions, and we had a really cool podcast. I appreciate Dwayne coming on, and we're going to talk about these topics. Again, everything that you see here is going to be uploaded to YouTube, so if you came into the stream late, or if you want to skip from topic to topic, we're going to have everything, have a timestamp on it, so you can just watch what you want to watch and focus on what you want to focus on. And that's going to be it for this one. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel with notifications on if you want to stay up to date. We're doing these every week on Monday, so we're recapping the full week. So if you didn't play Destiny that week, or if you just want to talk about this stuff and you didn't have time to play and you want to know what everything that's happening, this is the podcast for you. This is where we catch up on everything, and we do it in under 2 hours. We're at an hour and a half this week because there's so much going on. And next week we'll see what happens. We'll see what crazy stuff happens from Tuesday reset until next Monday. So thank you to Dwayne on Fire for helping me out, and we'll see you later.